So here's we're going to start today, and this is our agenda. I'll just briefly review the modules that we addressed here in this initial inaugural workshop. We do have our pitch and our speaker that was announced, and we'll hear more of it from her. And then this is our pitch competition moniker. Fearlessness is not the absence of fear. It's the mastery of fear. It's about getting up one more time after we fall down. And this is part of the social competencies that I try to push forward in this workshop, that you really have to build up a strong, thick skin so that if things don't work out, you won't despair and give up. Because every time you try something and you fail, you get further along on the learning curve. And if you don't fail early, you have this false sense of success, and you may not have the skills you need in the end. So people go into entrepreneurship really for practical reasons. And we heard from some of our speakers, they were out of a job, and they were at their wits' end on how to figure out survival. So some of our entrepreneurs drew on recipes from their home country and brought them into the U.S. Others were in a much more optimal position, such as Jesse Martinez, who was a trained engineer, and he could leverage his skills into an entrepreneurial project. But there's also reasons to get into a project or solve a problem for inspirational reasons. There are some of you in the audience who felt that there was a social problem in our world that you wanted to address. And this is the reason to gather your entrepreneurial skill set together to address the social problem. So entrepreneurship gives you all these qualities. We asked it earlier on what you felt entrepreneurship does for you. It does give you independence, and it gives you the confidence that you can control your own destiny. And that is really a great boon to individuals to be able to control their own destiny. And in fact, most of the businesses in the United States are small businesses, and this produces the most active workforce in the United States. One would think it's corporations, but that's very much changing. So what are the factors that influence a person's decision to be an entrepreneur? Desire for success, desire for recognition, the joy of innovation, and the ability to deal with uncertainty or risk. However, there are environmental factors that impact this personal attribute. There's local attitudes. In some parts of the country, the community does not encourage entrepreneurship. Here in the Bay Area, we're in the hub of entrepreneurial activity. There's so much encouragement and so much support. And entrepreneurial role models. If you are in certain parts of the country, people go to a 9-to-5 job, and there's not many examples of entrepreneurial role models. Here in the Bay Area, look around, there's loads of people who are starting small entrepreneurial businesses, small entrepreneurial companies, profit and nonprofit. So really, you have to visualize the opportunity by seeing who you are, what are your skill sets, what's the competition, and what's the marketplace. These are very simply boiled down into 3 concepts. And what are your resources? Do you have the time to do this? Do you have the passion to do this? Do you have the capital to do this? I asked someone who started their own business, our speaker, did you get investors to launch this widely acclaimed business? No. She did not, and nor do most entrepreneurs. Dig into your own pocket, pull out your credit card, and you do have skin in the game. When you personally invest in yourself, you're motivated to succeed, and that's generally how entrepreneurs launch off. So what's the sequencing of being an entrepreneur? the seed of an idea. You decide, if you find a problem, you have a passion, you find an opportunity. And then you start idea multiplication. You start thinking about things in a broader sense and then in a smaller sense. And ideas continue to multiply. Ideas tend to multiply when there's other people around. Idea generation does not happen in a vacuum. It happens in a dynamic environment where there's brainstorming and lots of contributions. And then you may identify a viable opportunity. So this is basically the entrepreneurial process. You have an innovation, you have a triggering event. The triggering event, what may be survival. You need to find a job, or a triggering event. You came across an amazing opportunity or amazing idea. Then you need to implement and grow. So usually we're at this part of the module, we're pretty much in the innovation, the early stages, but there's lots more ahead. Founding teams. So once again, entrepreneurship, a team sport. A lot of times I'll come across individuals who say, I've got a great idea, but I don't want to tell anyone. I go, gosh, you got to tell people. You got to get feedback. You've got to grow this idea. Alone, it's just an idea, but when you test it out and get feedback from others, it becomes a reality. So do more with others than you can do alone. And you still can partner with outside individuals, but to build a team, you have feedback, you have increased skill set, you have creativity. Very important to assemble a team early on. And consider your role, your strengths, your skills, build on them, and consider your external team members. So you in your team will not have all these people available, but that you need to have access. You need to have advisors that can give you some subject matter expertise, accountant people, legal people, at a certain point. But do we have certain advisors here at CCSF that students can draw upon for legal advice, anything like that?
That's a really good question. We have courses, definitely, but in terms of one-on-one, not that I'm aware of.
So we may think about something like that for students, because when you're forming a company and you're forming an enterprise, that is another factor that you really want to take into account, that you have the correct legal structure. So problems faced by startup teams: burnout. As an entrepreneur, you work really long hours because you have to, and you have skin in the game. Did you work long hours, Chel? Yeah. You don't sleep. Okay. You work long hours because you're passionate and it's your baby. It's your enterprise. You're not working 9 to 5 for someone. You're working to promote your idea because you think there's a positive impact. And that's where the passion comes in. If you think that your idea is just okay, you are not going to be willing to work all hours. But if you feel you've got an amazing idea, you're going to work on it and you're going to do whatever it takes. Another conflict: family pressures. So some of you who are married and you have family, you can't do this. You can't work those hours because you don't have the support team to look after your children, cook them dinner. So that has to be mitigated and has to be taken in consideration. Not that people with family can't do this, but they have to reconsider how their time gets allocated. And this is the final piece of this pie is interpersonal conflicts. This is a big problem, and that's why you really have to develop your social competency skills so you can mitigate interpersonal conflicts. People get very, very petty, and you cannot be part of that. You have got to let all that stuff be outside of your personal goals, because you are passionate about your goals. You don't want petty squabbles to disrupt it. So that's why I really emphasize development of personal competencies. Necessity is the mother of invention. Here's once again, we're reviewing how to be a change maker. You see a problem, you see a social problem, from your own country, from travels abroad. And then finally, I'm just going to review very briefly the business model. I use a one-page business model for all my classes because it's a very clear way of seeing what you have and how the parts integrate. And if you want to share your idea with someone, one page is enough. So here's our business model, and I know a lot of you have used this, and I recommend you refer to this if you have some other ideas. You always start in the middle at the value proposition. What do you have that is important? What is it important to the customer? Because in business, the customer is why we exist. Without a customer, we don't have a reason to exist. So you want to work from side to side, and then you will have a really great concept of what your entrepreneurial idea looks like. And then we have the pitch deck sample template that a lot of you have. So we have, these are some ideas that you can incorporate in a pitch. And I hope some of you have gone through it, the name of the company, the logo, company's purpose, problem, why are you doing your, very important to say why you're doing your entrepreneurial enterprise now. You know, if it has to be very time-centered. This is a very important part of the card because timing is one of the most important aspects of entrepreneurship. If the timing is wrong, the project will not fly. So very important in the pitch to say, and now we need this problem solved. Now this is the time to take care of this opportunity. The marketplace, you really have to know your marketplace. Rudy mentioned due diligence. That's the buzzword in entrepreneurship. Due diligence means you need to know what your market's like. If you have an idea that you've generated by yourself or with your friends and you have no idea what the market's like, you might not survive because you don't know what other people are doing, what other people are offering and what price. So very important to know the market. Who are your customers? You need to know the demographics, the geographics of your customer base. Your product may not be suitable for everyone. There's one product that is ketchup. Everyone will buy ketchup. But most other products are very suitable to only a small geographic and a small demographic. Competitive grid, this further defines the market. Where you are you a luxury good, item good? Are you a low price good? Are you a premium price? So you need to know where in the market. These are tools, not necessarily essential for the pitch deck, but optional. What have you achieved and what are you going to achieve ahead? This is important for you to do. And perhaps in this class or this module, you wouldn't need to have this, but if you were pitching to investors, they would like to know what you've achieved and what you plan to achieve. Financials, projections, so what do you think you're going to earn the first year, what do you think you're going to earn the second year, what you're going to earn the third year, important. And the team. The team is very important. You can't do it alone. Remember, entrepreneurship is a team sport. Use of funds, so this is another thing that area that you'll want to consider, how you're going to use your funds. If most of your funds are for your salary and very little for your product, it's a little bit of a lopside. So these templates, these business models that we've passed out to you are ways to refine your thinking. You just don't want to think about a project. You want to break it down, and when you break it down, it forces you to refine your project. Okay, so we're going to hear from our guest speaker, Chef Chel Gilla, Maligayang Padating, and welcome in Tagalog, and winning authentic and contemporary Filipino restaurant features on CBS 5 Eye on the Bay as one of the best cheap eats in the Bay Area, leader for sustainability for San Mateo and the 2017 State Assembly, and Business of the Year. So, and I believe you very kindly have provided some dinner for the students from Tselog. So yay, we'll get to sample that. Let's welcome once again. Thank you.
Good evening. So, that's too much. Can you hear me well? All right. I'm not sure if I should stand up or sit down because I sprained my ankle. But anyway, I think this is good. Again, my name is Chel Gilla. They told me that I'm the most special speaker for the last few weeks because I am given an hour and a half to speak tonight. I'm kidding. 30 minutes. I hope that I could share the most of my experience with everyone. I am not a business major, nor I went to a culinary school. My background is psychology, but just a little bit background about me. I came here in the States when I was 16, and so I experienced the poverty in the Philippines. They told me that I could talk about a little bit about why I am passionate with doing what I'm doing. And I started with wanting to have a school, wanting to build my own school. And I did not start to dream at 20 or when I graduated from college. I started to envision to have a school when I was 14. And that happened when I was going to a public school. When you're in the Philippines, public school is for the poorest of the poor. And so one day on my way home from church, I believe, there's this kid that's asking for money, alms. And I noticed that this kid is one of my classmates that stopped going to school for 2 months already. The problem I have is that this kid is smarter than me. I'm average. And so I went home crying. I'm like, this can't be. Why can't a kid go to school? And I asked him why he stopped going to school, and he said that I don't have any money for transportation, let alone food and essentials. And so I said, if I'm given an opportunity, I will build a school one day that will not only provide food and shelter, quality education, but food and shelter if they need it. I'm so happy that City College now offers free schooling in San Francisco. I'm very, very proud of what San Francisco has done. So make the long story short, fast forward, I was able to come here. I graduated from San Francisco State University. And my dream job was to work at San Quentin. I got a job as a case manager because I believe that people can change. I believe that people have the ability to transform their lives. And I believe that everyone here tonight, the reason why you're here is because you're probably fed up of something that, man, I want to make a difference. Or I want to really start doing something that I believe in. Or I want to pitch my idea, just like what you guys are going to be doing later, and see it into actuality. So I didn't get that job. I needed money at that time because my mom is disabled. My parents were separated, and my sister was still in high school, and I'm providing for them. And so I accepted a job at Merrill Lynch. I'm very humble. I was the best in the team after 4 years. They offered me a job. Either I can pick a position in New York or London, and they're going to pay me $160,000 a year with a bonus of 80 grand plus commissions. That's a lot of money for a 27-year-old minority woman, right? Because not a lot of people get to Wall Street like that. And so I didn't take it. I remember my vision when I was 14. And even if I make millions at Merrill Lynch, I won't be able to afford to build a school in the Philippines one day. And so it was 2008, I went out, I said, I'm gonna quit. And I didn't plan much. I told myself, I'm gonna quit today. And so I called my mom. Mom, I'm quitting today. You're crazy. See, if you're not crazy enough tonight, and you want to make a difference, and you want to pitch your idea, you have to find out that craziness, because no one can take that much of a risk if you're not crazy enough, okay? So anyway, I called my best friend, who's Teresa. She's sitting over there. She's my best friend since high school, and she's also a co-owner of Tselogs. And she said, yeah, go for it. She's crazy too. So I wrote my resignation letter. Believe it or not, I went out. I just needed a sign. And there's this stranger that came up to me, looked me in the eye, and said, be consumed by a purpose. And now you all think, this lady's crazy. But it really happened. I actually patented that I bought that that phrase. So if you use that, I'm gonna charge you. All right, so I sold my stocks, built Tselogs in 2008. After a month, recession happened. If I didn't leave that same day, I wouldn't be able to open a business. I wouldn't be in front of you here tonight. So fast forward, after 10 years, we opened 3 restaurants within a year. Right now we have 4. This happened last year. The consultant for the state of California, labor, I'm running out of English. I expire after 6 p.m., so I have to hurry up. The consultant for the Department of Labor and Industry came to us and asked, how are you able to open 3 stores within a year, and you're a minority or you're an ethnic restaurant? Do you have investors? I said, no. Do you have a business partner that no. We just started and opened and, you know. And so he said, so how did you do it? So how do you spend your time? I said, I am not here in the States at least half a year of the time. I travel. I get to do whatever I want to do. I am free. And so he said, how are you able to do it? I said, well, I came up with a manual that I teach my people, and they manage it. They manage the business for me. And we're able to do that at an early stage. And so I showed it to him, and he said, do you want to have a school? I'm like, this guy's crazy. How'd you know? And so he proposed to me. He said, normally, people would come to us and propose to us if their institutions would be a school, an apprenticeship school. And he said, I want you to have a school. I said, I want to have a school. So right now, not only that Tselogs is a restaurant, it is also a California state approved school in which we teach leadership and entrepreneurship. Enough of that. I really want to share something with you that you'll be able to take with you, the things that I learned over time. So I'm going to talk about vision, purpose, and mission. Okay? I'm tired. So what is vision? Vision is what you see, right? And on your business plan, you have to have a vision. So I'm taking you to the basic, the most raw material of leadership development. Okay? So if a tree is presented to you, you see a tree. But you see, what sets leaders apart is that they don't see a tree. They see a table. They see a chair. They see a house. That's what it takes for you to get yourself to the next level. Okay? So vision is what you see. Whatever your passion is, your interest, or the things that you're willing to do alone for the rest of your life, that is your passion. Okay? And your vision also is your destiny. I believe that Dr. Stryker mentioned that, your destiny. You want to have control over your destiny, right? Vision is your destiny, and your destiny is your address in life. It's your main address. There's no other place like home, right? Wouldn't it be nice to actually but just be home, meaning doing exactly what you want to do for the rest of your life? Second is, so vision is what you see, and it answers the question, what? Purpose answers the question, why? Why do you want to see that? Why do I want to have a school? Well, guess what? Because I've seen something before that I know I can change. And recognizing that you can change something is recognizing your power. Power simply means, it's actually a very good word. Power simply means the ability to change something. Who in here believes that you can change something? There you go. We have leaders in the room. Mission, on the other hand, answers the question, how? How are you going to get to your main address? How are you going to get to your main vision? So there's a lot of things, there's a lot of components. Yes, you may see a chair or a table or a house with that tree that you're seeing, but then you need tools, you need equipments. And I believe that the things that we're learning here tonight are those things. That's why I'm not sure if you guys go to conferences, to talks and things like that. Those are the things that you need in order for you to turn a tree into something else, okay? Another thing is Because they always say that, oh, purpose is the most important thing, vision is the most important thing, or even mission is the most important thing. Those are all important things. You just have to combine all of them to be complete. And failure is part of it. I love the art of failing. Because you'll see that, wow, you realize that, oh, I don't have muscles yet in that area. That's an opportunity where you'll be able to develop. Not only that, if you really are not good with that, just like myself, I'm not good with finances. I'm just really good in spending. Now, there are people that you need. You can't get there alone. You know, whenever people talk about the milestones of the restaurant, I think about every individual that helped me get there, that opened the doors of opportunity for myself and for my workers. So vision answers the question, what do you see? Whatever your passion is. Purpose answers the question, why do you see it? And mission answers the question, how you're gonna get there. Those are three important things. If you open, if you go to a company website and things like that, until today, there are companies that can't answer that. They don't know what it means. And I only learned this as I do my business. I'm like, this is what it means, because I started with, I used to ask wrong questions. And Dr. Stryker mentioned that earlier, that you have to ask the right questions. If you ask the wrong questions, you'll get the wrong answer. I met a young lady yesterday. She's here today also. If you ask, oh, when is that fish gonna start to fly? You're not gonna get the right answer. It won't. So you have to make sure that you're asking the right questions, and being here, taking classes and things like that, even mentorship, coaching, or looking for someone that can mentor you, that will definitely help. So now you ask, again, I'm going to the basic. I'm going to the basic of what makes a person a leader. I'm looking at the time. So what do I want in my worker? Or because of course you want everyone to be successful, and having your own business, your success is dependent on their success. So I'd like to make sure that I teach them things that are beneficial for them and for myself also. So what I want in a leader, in a worker, is three things. Also in a relationship. Number one is authenticity. You want them to be themselves. I mean, you don't want to be with someone who's a fake or pretending. And today, it's really difficult to tell, because most of the time, people just want to please people. People just want to get an approval or validation or even recognition. So you want to make sure that you are authentic as a leader. So if you're pitching your idea, if they know that what you're selling, you don't believe in, people are smart. They'll be able to tell. And not only that, that is actually a recipe for failure, because you're not going to be able to, now, you know what, I'll probably try something else. You know, because your product is you. Your brand is you. Your brand are your values. Second is consistency. You make sure that you're always consistent with whatever you're doing. Your progress is consistent. Last but not the least is excellence. Now, these things are very raw. You hear this all the time. There's nothing new that I'm telling you that you'll find, oh, that's new, I like that. Old stuff. There's no secret. However, I was stuck. I told them I want authenticity, consistency, excellence, because I believe I have that. I didn't get it. So I came up with 4 things in order for you to increase your authenticity, increase your consistency, and increase your excellence. Number 1, if you're writing notes, this really helps. Number 1 is focus. 2 minutes from now is done. Believe me, it will never happen again. 2 minutes ago, it will never happen again. It's done. So if an employee comes to work, or even you as a leader, as a business owner, a student, if you tell yourself, no, I am an excellent student, but then you're thinking about your problem from yesterday, you're fooling yourself. You're not giving your 100%, because your mind is not there. Or if you're thinking about the future, you're still not there. So 2 emotions you'll feel. If you're thinking about the past, there are regrets. You're thinking about the future, you're anxious and you're worried. You only have now. So what's your problem? Nothing. Just focus. Okay, so I expect that my employee, when they come, they're focused. And I look at them, are you okay? Are you here? Okay, so it's somewhat qualitative and quantitative. Number 2 is experience. I won't expect someone that's been working for us for 2 days to be excellent. As an employer, you have to have a training program and also compassion for people that doesn't have enough experience, and also for ourselves. Until now, I still learn. There's still things that I don't know about, and I ask people, and there's no graduation to learning. You always have to learn. And if there's so many things that you can do, and there's a lot of things that you still don't know, and that's the most exciting part about uncertainty. Example. Let's go back to experience. If I'm about to get a surgery, okay, a brain surgery, and I ask my surgeon, how long have you been doing this? And then the surgeon says, oh my gosh, this is my first time. I'm so excited. I'll probably say, no thank you. No thanks. So I know how it feels. I actually feel I'm still inexperienced with many, many things in business. If I want, actually, let me share you my vision. In the next 15 years, we're crazy, we want to open at least 100 Tselogs within the next 15 years. You see, a lot of people say, some people, if they don't know my story, they'll say, why, you're crazy. You have more than enough. And then I look at them, I want to have my own school, you see. Thank you so much. Thank you. Your faith will move my mountain. Thanks. So imagine the kind of focus, imagine the kind of experience that we need in order for us to push this kind of vision. It's very ambitious, but it's not impossible. I mean, we live in a city in where impossibility is non-existent practically. Third is creativity. So creativity that ties to authenticity. I don't expect that people will be the same. That's something that we always have to celebrate. You're you. No one is like you. From the beginning of time until the end of time, no one is going to be like you. Right? And you agree with that. And the problem with leadership is actually they have not discovered something. That's why they can't move forward. And you know what they're not discovering? Themselves. You learn all these things, these skills and knowledge, but you're not able to know who you really are. And I believe Dr. Stryker mentioned something like that, seeing who you are. You can't be just focused on the outside environment and miss out on who you really are. So you gotta make sure that in order for you to find your passion, you need to know who you are first. And don't miss out on that. So you always have to be creative. And you have to understand, again, I'll say this again, you have the power. You have the ability to change something. Last but not the least is knowledge. As you want to increase your authenticity, consistency, and excellence, you have to increase your knowledge. And I hear this all the time from older people, like my friend over there. I'm kidding. It's like, no, it's okay. No, I don't need to go there. I need to learn. I'm fine with what I know. Right away, you give yourself sentence like, that's it. That's it for me. Never stagnate. Never settle. There's more things to learn. And I mean, okay, a tree, right? You see, we build chairs and tables out of that. But today, they build I'm so obsolete. They use wood now for many, many different things. It's just amazing. And there are nothing new under the sun, really. It's just a matter of people discovering to put them together and finding out the next great invention. I mean, the school that we have is a first in the state of California, across the board. I was told by the consultant, that there's no restaurant that is a school. And I'm like, wow, it's a first. That's amazing. And I just realized, I thought that everything is there already. Everything has been discovered and made. But I'm just so honored that, wow, that's a first. And so I time myself. I still have 10 minutes. What makes a lion the king of the jungle? Who knows this story? Have you heard of this? This is from Miles Monroe. I don't know if you know him, but what makes the lion the king of the jungle is not because it's the strongest, not because it's the tallest, not because it's the smartest, or not because it's the heaviest. No. It's because of its attitude. That if they see an elephant, the lion would say, "Oh my gosh, that's my lunch." What makes the lion different is that he would make the elephant feel he reduces the size of the elephant to a meal. Now, I'm not saying that you should oppress. No, not at all. My point is that leadership is 80% attitude, 20% skills. All my friends know that, I'm an average person. But I believe that with uncertainty and risk, there are rewards. Okay? And also, a lot of people tell me that, oh, you don't fear. Because I don't show fear, except for tonight. When you're fearful, who in here really are so confident that, my gosh, whatever I'm going to be doing is going to work 100%? Who has that confidence? Great, that's good. And if ever it comes to a point that you doubt yourself or you're fearful, do it scared. It's okay. Okay? And a lot of people also, with the mindsetting that we're so used to today, managers and leaders are two different people. Managers are there to maintain. Leaders are there to disrupt something. Managers are there to make sure the policies are upheld, but leaders are there to make policies. Now, you will be having your own businesses in the future, and I really hope you do. And don't forget that the strength that you will have is not just gonna come from profit. If you're there to just focus on, oh my God, I'm gonna be a billionaire just like everyone else, I'm telling you, not only that it's gonna be hard, it's not gonna be fulfilling. But try to find that inner voice in you that, what do I really want to change in the world? What do I want to see change? And you know your skills. I wish I'm very good with math, but I'm not. So I befriend people that are good at math and accounting and things like that. But make sure that if there are anything that is your weakness, try to reach out. There are so much resources already that out there that you can take advantage of. See, with leadership and doing something, resources is not the problem. You know what the problem is? Resourcefulness. We have more ways to find excuses for us not to do the things that we need to do. So just like what I said, just like a lion, he's not the strongest, tallest. All of those things are omitted. All those excuses are omitted because he's just focused on one thing. And he believes 100% that, oh, I can do that. If he's not able to do it, maybe not today, maybe tomorrow. And so I'll end with this because it's a lot of mind setting. You need to really make sure that you protect your mind, okay? You know that the real estate in San Francisco is very expensive. And I see that our mind is also a real estate. It's a space. It's like a hard drive. Whatever you input, you'll be able to pull out. And I think that was my struggle starting. There's not a lot of things that I know. There's not a lot of things that I thought that was not provided. But as I mature in the business, I learned that, oh my gosh, because I listen to people that are not only not contributing, but throwing in junk in my mind, negativity. Dr. Shiger mentioned that earlier. She said that don't be affected by petty things, right? So you have to understand that your mind it's a space. If San Francisco real estate is valuable, all the more your minds are valuable. So my people know already that I don't have time for negativity or complaints. We are disruptors, we're not interrupters. So if your mind is precious and valuable, you want to make sure you filter everything that you hear. I hear also, we talked about time, and that's important. If you have the time to do it, you need to know your priorities. If this is something that is important to you, you'll prioritize it. And make sure that you really protect your mind from the things that will bring you down, that will make you doubt yourself. Because as soon as you feel that, that becomes your truth. And when that becomes your truth, you're not gonna do anything. And I really wanna push everyone here to try something. Even if you think that you'll fail, it's okay, it's fun. And then just try to find another route. But you see, your vision again is your address, so you'll get there, you'll get closer to your goal. So, I know that there's still a long way from the vision that we have. A lot of people think that, oh, you're already successful. Success is a milestone, it's progress, we're getting there, but there's still a lot of work to be done. And I also thank City College of San Francisco for inviting me, not just tonight, but I'm part of the board for leadership and entrepreneurship. Now I can take advantage of their structure and their their knowledge and their skill set. We need that. And so, and use your resources. It's here. Everything is here. You just need to tap into that. And don't do it yourself. Reach out to people that you believe that can help you. And don't listen to negativity. It's gonna pollute your space. Okay? Any questions? Yeah. I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Are there any short books or things you suggest in terms of finding mentors?
Books?
Yeah.
Oh.
Or ways of getting from the phase of legalizing a business or actually stepping into, let's say you already have an idea, or kind of getting to the how.
Okay. All right. I believe that City College is offering a class about that. I think Rudy just mentioned that. They're offering a whole, it's a certificate program, correct? It's like legalizing business.
We have courses
Yeah.
in legal, but we're talking about one-on-one legal advice versus taking a course.
Oh, okay.
Sources that you can actually recommend us to do it. Any sources?
Okay. To tell you the truth, Google has practically everything. Really, yeah. When it comes to structures and systems and legal stuff, step by step, everything is on Google. Yes. I actually bought a book called Restaurant for Dummies. Before I started, I read it, I memorized it. So Restaurant for Dummies for me, it gave me insight and also general view of what to expect. I didn't understand everything until I actually got into it, but it gave me a good view.
Actually, I can comment on that. Guys, if you want to gain some information about starting a business and how to do the paperwork and stuff, check out Small Business Administration.
There you go. That's true.
They have a lot of like consulting, etc. A lot of different aspects of business.
Actually, that's true. Yeah, I go to Small Business Administration, 455 Market Street. They have amazing resources. They have ample.
What made you choose a restaurant?
I love to eat.
Okay.
No, actually,
Also, what was the time frame of when you left your job with Merrill Lynch? Did you know restaurants the way to go, or what was the time frame?
there is a specific dish that I cannot find anywhere whenever I travel or here in the States, and it's a beef dish. Unfortunately, we didn't have that tonight, but I've been looking for it, and I told myself that, man, people should try it here. And so I actually didn't think that I'd stay in the restaurant business forever, but I really found my passion in it. So how I use a restaurant as a stepping stool for my bigger vision is that first, I am a foodie. I really love food. I cook also, but at the same time, because of the need, I saw that people are missing out because they're not able to try my favorite beef dish, and so I use that. I'm gonna open a restaurant and share it to to the world.
And what was the time?
Oh, the timeline.
Yeah.
I told you 3 months.
3 months.
But I prepared myself all my life. Meaning, oh, this is a very good point. I didn't start as an entrepreneur when I opened the business. I started to be an entrepreneur as soon as I dreamt, as soon as I had that vision. So everywhere I go, if I go to a bathroom, for example, today, it was filthy, I cleaned it. So you don't start when you open, you start today. So it's little habits that you acquire over time. So why did I pick my best friend to be my business partner, is because she worked for Allstate for 10 years. Never late, never called in. I worked in the corporate sector 13 years, never called in, never late. So you're an entrepreneur, not when you open or when you thought about it, you start now. Does that make sense? So it's habit forming. So it's not just, because sometimes we think like, wow, I'm so impressed you're able to do that. Dude, really, even if I'm sleeping, I'm working. So I just want to really emphasize the importance of habits. Okay? Thank you for the question. You have a question?
I'm maybe not sure, maybe you know about that, for the opening the some company or anything like that, for the tax information or name of the companies or open the one business, which organization help for do the papers work?
Okay, taxes for business.
Not taxes only, but for opening the business, put the name of for the company and record it and all together, tax for the IRS and anything together to when you put it in the website, this is my name of the company with this tax information.
Oh, like the EIN, corporate tax ID?
Yes, and with the you register your company.
Oh, okay. That's a process. That's a lot of stuff. So you have to, depending on what kind of business you'll be opening, so you'll be needing, and what kind of entity. You have a lot of questions. So whether, are you going to be a sole proprietor? Is it going to be LLC, partnership, or corporate? And there are two types of corporation, S or C. And those things you need to register through the state. And in order for you, because those are three different departments. Again, resources that are very good online. You'll have to apply to the city. You have to have your Board of Equalization if you're selling a product. So I think that's a legal thing that you're asking. So, and small business, just like what the gentleman said. Yes. Go ahead.
But this is a class,
curious
don't have
to
any
know,
like
so
a
a lot of
website or any
people say
places,
that,
just voters.
let's say if you want to start a business, you can start small
Mm-hmm.
and then test it out. Let's say, since we're talking about restaurants,
Right.
You can start, let's say, from the stand and then move to the truck and then move to the, maybe some small.
You can do that.
I'm curious actually to know like your route. How was your route?
I failed many times. I started small. I failed for the first 3 years. We weren't making money. And I don't see that as not a failure, but I knew that I need to go to get there. But I think you're asking if you can actually expand from what you started. If I didn't have the funding or the stocks where I used to fund my own business, I'll probably start with 1 or 2 products, maybe a lumpia or a pancit. If you guys are familiar, I'll sell it anywhere. I mean, in any kind of funding that you can create, start with something small. That's okay. Because when you start something small, you're finding out more about what you can take also. It's like this. If you cannot jump from a 12-foot high place and you can take a 3 feet, then jump from 3 feet. And then you'll be able to, it's kind of like exercise and fitness. I'm not sure your capacity, but you know your capacity of risk. So although, yes, I took a big risk, but at the same time, I was also realistic and practical. Did that answer your question? Definitely, you can start.
You started big as you planned, like initially, or did you?
No, I started small. All my friends actually got tired of eating the beef dish that I was, because they were eating that for like months and months, perfecting it. But I think the reason why I want to encourage you to start also small, because if you think that you should start big, I think that'll discourage you. Does that make sense? So if you think that you can start small, then start small. that's fine. I don't think I started big. I think I started small because for the first year, I was not paying my friends. All my friends helped me out and my family. So, because I didn't have money to pay them. They just go there for free food and that's fine with them. So if you're a good con artist like me, hey, come join me. I'll give you free food. But they don't know that actually they're spending a lot of their time there. But no, yes, definitely, you can start small.
Yeah, may I just comment, just this touches on entrepreneurship. The reason we say is to start small is you minimize your risk. And that's why on Shark Tank, they don't want to fund businesses that haven't started small because they have not tried it out. And by funding something that is large without any trial, without any pilot, without any revenue, there's a lot of risk. So very important point, both of you.
And a lot of people are looking for funding, right? I mean, if you really believe in your own product, the first investor would be you. And that's actually making sure that your investor is going to believe in what you started because you're willing to actually give up everything for what you started. Any more questions? Yes.
What are a few of your top priorities for expanding to 100? Are you looking franchise route or?
No. I don't want to franchise because all the restaurants are going to be school. So right now I'm focusing on the training of our managers and our leaders. But I think I'm going to say it. We are able to encourage a person that worked for a big restaurant company, and we're gonna. I'm just kidding. No, we're restructuring, and we're basing it from a huge scale of restaurant industry, just so that we can expand. And I'm glad that we're able to do that. So right now we are starting from the bottom up. Right now, we may only have 4 stores, but the kind of investment that we're doing in terms of trying to, so basically I'm not this, because they're the ones that are in charge with the restructuring. So we're restructuring right now. And that's all I could say.
So I just want to make it clear, you've been in the restaurant business for 8 years.
11.
11 years.
Yes.
And 5 years your business, 8 years with your own business, or 11 years with your own business?
It's my own business for the.
So from the whole thing.
That is correct.
So, and you were not creating any revenue for the first 6
The first 3 years.
3 years.
The first 3 years.
So oh, it's not 5 years or 6 years.
No, the first 3 years, that's when I started with my ROI, my return of investment. On the 5th year, we're able to, we have good profit and we're able to save to expand. So when I opened my business, I didn't owe anything personally. After 3 years, I owed more than 100 grand. That's not a lot. That's not a good encouragement for someone starting a business, right? But I was not deterred. I just have to find how to make it work. We always say, so what if it doesn't work? Because a lot of our friends would ask us, so what would you do if it doesn't work? And then Teresa and I would look at each other. We'll find a way to make it work. There's no option but to make it work.
What do you look at for a location?
SFPD actually contacted us because the way we do things is that we go to depressed areas. We have one in Colma where there's a lot of dead people, but no. Crocker, the Amazon, depressed area. Tenderloin, depressed area. South Venice, 16th, depressed area. Because we want to make sure that we employ people that need a second chance. Yes.
So how do you find your investment? Because you work for 3 years, right?
Right.
So first of all, you have to use your own
That is correct.
investment.
Yes.
And then within 3 years, so how do you control your expense and then,
I think it helped that I had a financial background. So before I quit Merrill Lynch, I opened a lot of line of credits, personal line of credits, and also credit cards. And to a point in where, just like what I said, and I don't encourage you guys to be in debt. I hate debt. I never owed until that time. But I believe in what I'm doing so much that I don't mind losing everything. I actually lost my house with that, because of Tselogs. Because I had to take out equity and sell it eventually because I couldn't afford it. But I know my address. So I'm like, I'm gonna do this, whatever it takes. Yes, there's Al. It depends. You have a really good question. So her question is, connections, are they all important, or are they all important? You need to make sure, as a business owner, you have to make sure that not only that you have the right connections, but at the same time, with the vision that we have, we want to also get connected with those people that need a second chance. So, but at the same time, there are connections. Like, for example, the people here, the faculty here, Vivian, being specific, she has a lot of knowledge that I don't know about. So I always tell her, man, the things that you know, I want to take advantage of the kind of knowledge that she has. So if you know that those people will be able to benefit with what you're doing, you keep those relationships. But at the same time, you give back also. You make sure that you give back to that friendship, connection.
I'm curious actually if you did a significant amount of marketing, and if you did and worked, which ones worked best for you?
You know, I was here last week with and listened to Enzo, Indiegogo. And there's a lot of things that he said that I agree with that, with the kind of, if you guys are trying to sell something techie or things like that, that's good. But we didn't do any kind of marketing. Zero. A lot of spread of mouth, a lot of, so actually, we turned down a lot of media exposure also. Sometimes we would be on articles I didn't even know about. And that's because we believe in ourselves so much, we love our brand so much, that other people start to believe in what we believe in. You don't need 100% population to agree with you. You just need 1%. If there's 150,000 people in Daly City, 1% is 1,500. That's the only customer you need. So, but I believe in advertising. I mean, don't get me wrong. But when we started, we didn't. There's just a lot of media, TV publications that came to us and said that, hey, can we put you in our article? I'm like, yeah, sure. And that definitely helped us. Any more? We're good?
Are your location stable? Like economical speaking, are all your locations stable?
Stable.
Yeah.
Right now we're very healthy.
Very healthy.
We're very healthy. We are looking into opening in 2 years. We believe that we're able to open 4 every year. Yeah. Any IRS agents here? I hope that there's, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Go ahead.
Last question actually for me. What was your biggest challenge throughout your career?
I think everyone will agree with this. Biggest challenge is always people. Maybe your worker, co-worker, family member, personal relationship, even customers, it's people. I think that's the most, because a lot of people say that it's funding. I never see money as an issue in terms of pushing our vision forward. It's the people. Yeah. Mostly workers, because different mindset. Yeah. I think we're, go ahead.
How would you explain the business? You have the restaurant and the school together.
Right.
So those are two different things, but the school is for the people on the restaurant, or the school is
The school is intentional. Although all the workers are undergoing some kind of training based on the curriculum that we offer. A little bit about the school, it has 4 phases. One is we destroy all the old mentality, meaning the things that you don't necessarily need anymore, that you learn from culture, family, background, even school system sometimes. We let go of those, because if you cannot let go of the good, you won't have room for the great. And then we try to cultivate our mind so that we're ready to take the foundation. Only then we're able to put the foundation and then application. And that's when we use the restaurant as an actual learning environment, a safe environment for those principles. One example would be the relationship between change and time. The things that I talked about, authenticity, consistency, and excellence, all those sort of things. So it's intentional. They can apply through the program, work at least 20 hours, or just be an employee, but they don't know they're already getting trained. Yeah. And all the principles that we teach is actually based on biblical principles, translated into business language. Everything is universal. Cool. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. And I'm excited to hear your pitch.
Yeah. What a rousing discussion, questions by you, and of course the leadership by Chel. You know, her point of us all being lifelong leaders couldn't be well said. I'd like to also say lifelong athletes. We have to take care of our health so that we can achieve great things. And one final comment is a lot of us are the sons and daughters of immigrants. And our forefathers, our parents, our grandparents came here with very little. We ourselves came here with little. I have the flag of Philippines and the United States. Here in the United States, we can make things happen. We have the correct environment to make things happen. I heard one story of a very well-known billionaire who was lamenting the lethargy of his sons and daughters who were very apathetic. They couldn't seem to be interested and compassionate or passionate about anything. And he said, I've given my children everything, the best schools, the biggest leg up, and still their apathy. There's one thing I didn't give them, and that's the need to be hungry. And we can see that if you are so overwhelmed with material goods, you really cannot find the compassion and the passion to make things happen and make a positive impact. So thank you so much, Chel, for your story and all your questions. It's a pleasure being here. Thank you so much.